Tonight on the ballot, we talk to the men in black about the vagaries of election policing. We x-ray past elections and evaluate the effectiveness of law enforcement agencies. Also tonight, we have a guide for the voter on election day. Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to The Ballot, NTA's comprehensive pre-election program. My name is Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Nice to have you join us. Now, I don't know about you, but the 2019 elections cannot come fast enough for me. For the business of nation building, the genuine attempt at holistic development and a responsible process of positive growth to return to the front burner. The elections act as the midwife that ensures the birth of any democratic cycle. The success of this process is largely hinged on the safety and security of the voters, election officials, and most importantly, the sensitive materials. Now, how has the Nigerian police fared in past elections and what lessons for this year's exercise? Assistant Commissioner of Police Frank Mba is the first public relations officer. ACP Mba, let me belatedly congratulate you on this new appointment and welcome you to the ballot.
Thank you very much.
Now, the 2019 general elections is the first major assignment of the new leadership of the Nigerian police. Are you apprehensive with the dates fast running towards the elections?
I don't think apprehension is the word. I think we are cautiously optimistic that with all the...
I say that considering the enormity of the task.
Yes, and that's also why I use the word cautiously optimistic. That looking at all the things we've done, the volume of work we've done, the level of preparations we've carried out in terms of training, in terms of the security threat analysis we've carried out, in terms of our deployment strategies, in terms of our partnership and collaborative efforts with INEC, with sister security agencies, with election observers, both domestic and international, and our synergy with the civil society organizations. We are quite hopeful and trusting God that everything will turn out beautifully well.
We had the INEC chairman on Monday, and he was saying that, of course, he gave us a list that it was almost 120,000 polling units nationwide. Looking at that, do you have enough men in terms of personnel to man every unit?
Well, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Abubakar, has held quite a lot of interactive sessions with members of the public, and in each of these fora he has repeatedly said our strength we will be drawing additional strength from other security agencies. The truth is that if we should work with the strength of the Nigerian police force alone, surely we won't have enough men to cover those pools. But Nigeria should be rest assured that we won't have those challenges. Reason being that we will be drawing strength from our sister security agencies. We'll be working with the customs, the immigration, the civil defense, the prison, the federal road safety, and of course the military will also be at the background, also providing backup. So I think with all these synergies and collaborations and partnership across the different level, we don't have anything to fear, and we are adequately prepared, adequately mobilized, adequately motivated, and adequately trained for this exercise.
Now, maybe you can give us a little peek at the rules of engagement, putting into consideration the fact that policemen at the polling units are not supposed to be, really armed in that way. How would you perhaps control the crowd or the voters in cases of clashes or all that?
One of the reasons why the police incorporated that approach in our standard operational procedure is the belief of the IGP that election or electioneering is not tantamount to warfare. We're not going to war. and we are not expecting, as it were, a civil disorder at the polling booths. And so the policemen that are being deployed at the immediate vicinity of the polling booths and police centers will not be armed. But no one should take that for granted, because no one should take the liberty of that and begin to misbehave, because we will have operatives from the tactical squads, the police mobile squad, the counter-terrorism unit, the special protection unit, as well as the special forces stationed at very strategic locations, and most of them will just be a phone call away. So these are going to be the rapid response teams that will be strategically positioned, and we'll also be having roving patrols. We'll be having area patrol as well, and we'll also have men patrolling the waterways. So we are adequately mobilized, like I've said initially, and our deployments are going to be strategic. These deployments are going to be intelligence driven, they're going to be target oriented, they're going to be purposeful, and they will be designed to achieve results at different times during the election.
In terms of figures, can you give us, a figure you are working with tentatively now in terms of the men you are deploying primarily on election day?
I wouldn't want to play around with figures, but I can tell you that almost every 7 police officer in Nigeria will be one way or the other involved in the election duty. Every 7 police officer will be one way or the other involved in the election duty, because even those who are not going to be on the field, they'll probably be at the control room, they'll probably be in the office collecting information, processing data, and working on it. Some might not be at the polling center, they will be carrying out operational patrols. Some will actually be carrying out monitoring patrols. These are more like our own internal observers. So we have police officers actually policing the policemen that have been deployed. So almost all of us, including the IGP himself, will be out on the streets doing exactly what Nigerians expect us to do on the election day.
I'm sure you have been, perhaps reading the newspapers and watching some, television in this past few days, or past few weeks. And the rhetorics have been ranked up by political actors. That will not help your job, talking about raising tension, beating different drums before the election day itself. Are you engaging the political actors on these rhetorics?
I can tell you that just like every other Nigerian, officers are men of the Nigerian police force. Collectively and individually, we are monitoring the narratives, the political narratives out there. At our organizational level, I'm aware that the Inspector General of Police has earlier given out instructions to Commissioner of Police across the 36 states of the Federation, including FCT Abuja, to engage in what we call confidence building engagements with these politicians. So across the different states of the Federation, there are meetings, consultations going on. Commissioners of police have been engaging these politicians from all the different divide and talking to them. We've also issued warnings against hate speeches and speeches capable of hitting up the polity. We're also concerned about fake news. Not just hate speeches, we're also concerned about fake news. And our strategy has been, and that's part of the reason why each time you call me, I try to respond as much as I can. Because part of our strategy in tackling fake news have also been to be positively engaged with both the traditional media and the social media. Because we believe that if we can put out information timely and respond to inquiries timely and dispel rumors as quickly as we can, we probably may be able to cut down incidences of fake news. You know that at the peak of politics like this, people try to throw out all kinds of stories out there Because for me, fake news is clearly when people deliberately put out information that they know are totally false or substantially false. They can put out for different reasons, either because they want to clickbait people. For those who are running blogs and they believe that the more people click on the story, the more their alerts, in quote, the more their bank accounts swell up, so they clickbait citizens, or those who deliberately put out false stories in order to achieve definite political gains.
All right.
So we'll continue to deal with all of them: hate speeches, fake news, and all kind of conducts and manners capable of derailing our elections.
Yes, people who have been observing the Nigerian political space, have observed with worry some developments in the past week. Arson has been introduced. In Isialangwa, for instance, Abia State, a PVC collection center was razed to the ground. Now, a lot of people are saying police has to now begin to look at issue of anticipating some of these things instead of even just being perhaps reactionary.
You know, policing is a very complicated process. Is a very complicated enterprise. As much as we try to be proactive, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, there are moments where you just have to be reactive. It's the same thing as saying, as much as you try to prevent crimes, there are moments where your crime prevention mechanism may not, it's just like a net, it might not be able to prevent all the crimes you wanted to prevent. And when that occurs, what do? You react to it. You investigate. You go after the perpetrators. You get them. You bring them to justice. You then sit back, understudy what happened, look at their modus operandi, look at what was their motive and mission and reason behind the commission of the offense, and then put measures in place to ensure that similar things don't occur again. Draw from the lessons of that particular incident and come up with a new design that is purposefully built to checkmate such in the future. And that's exactly what we're doing in Abia State. As at the last time I got a brief on it, 3 persons were interrogated, 1 was granted bail, 2 were detained, including police officers, and we are leaving nothing to chances, and that's exactly what we're doing.
All right, looking at of course, as we said earlier, as we opened the program, it's a 4-year cycle, the presidential election and other elections. But in the ensuing years, we've had some gubernatorial elections and all that. Are the election offenders that were apprehended during those exercises, have they been prosecuted and some brought to book?
Well, I can't answer those questions because I don't have the facts. But what I do know is that since 1999, when this cycle or when this republic came into being, what we've done at the NPF level have been to, at the end of every election, we look at what we did generally, look at areas we did well, commend ourselves, and try to improve on them. Look at the areas we clearly know that we did not do well, and then carry out a proper post-mortem and then try to improve, try to fix, try to remedy the loopholes or remedy the mischief that we noticed.
All right, most of these mischiefs, as you to quote you, come from some of the areas that are clearly known as flashpoints, across the country. When you see that clearly some communities have these cases recurring every election. Have you done some profiling? ahead of this election?
I told you at the beginning that we carried out what we call security threat analysis across the length and breadth of the country. There were also other organizations that also carried out the similar threat analysis, and the good thing is that most of them did turn over their results, the results of their analysis to us, or rather shared the results of the analysis to us. And that's why I said our deployment strategy are purposeful and intelligence driven. They are target oriented. And for each state of the Federation, we have a tailor-made deployment strategy for them. So the deployment strategy we're using in Kano, for example, might not be exactly the same strategy we'll use in Enugu, because we customize our strategies to suit the security needs of that particular state. So for example, in some areas, we might not have need for area patrols, for example. Of course, if a state is not littoral, if a state is not surrounded by water bodies, we may not have any need to deploy the marine police to the state, and so on and so forth. So every state has got, of course we have a general deployment strategy, but every state will get customized deployment strategies designed to suit the security needs of that particular state.
All right. Now looking at that, we know that your men will be stretched over this period.
Certainly.
And because of that, have you put in place, you know, a program or perhaps a scheme that would, you know, cushion the effect, so to say, Nigerian language, to motivate the Nigerian police?
Again, at the beginning of this program, I also told you we've carried out massive trainings and retraining. These trainings are designed to fill what I can call knowledge gaps that we detected from previous elections. The trainings are also designed to prepare officers and men psychologically for the challenges ahead. You need to know from time that, okay, I am going to run a race. This is not a 100-meter dash. It's certainly going to be a 4,000 kilometers race. So I need to arrange myself. I need to prepare myself, prepare my fitness, prepare my water pack, get ready for everything. So that's the purposes, or that's the purpose of the training. In terms of motivation, we've also done this. The sitting IGP is a man, beyond the fact that he's a strategic thinker and a strategic leader, he understands the import and the importance of motivating your men and carry them along. What we've designed is that every police officer participating in this election, we have his allowances paid directly into his salary account. So it's designed in such a way so that there will be no interference by any other factor or any other person. And
before I let you go further, what is the response from the field, from your,
beautiful, beautiful, because this has also been test run, and that's why I said every election we've had, we use them as a learning period for us. For every single election we've had in this country, beyond the fact that we're actually working, is also a laboratory for us, is a learning curve for us. And that's why if you watch the trajectory of elections in Nigeria, starting from 1999 as it were, you would have noticed, if you want to be sincere, consistent improvement in the conduct of our policemen and in our operational strategies up to 2015. I mean, there was so much tension around 2015. That election came, we did marvelously well, to the admiration of all Nigerians and all election observers, international as well as local. We want to take it a step further. We just need the support of Nigerians. Because at the end of the day, if we do everything we need to do, and the bulk of the citizens out there, including the politicians, make things impossible for us, we will run into bigger challenges. So we need to work together as a people, as a nation, and we need to collaboratively drive our country on the positive lane.
Security experts have opined that to help this process from the policing perspective, technology has to be deployed in terms of surveillance. Are you looking at this direction?
Yes, we are. We are, and we equally have technology. Consistently, we've been adopting technologies. I mean, the only constant thing is change, and if we remain stagnated in one place, we wouldn't be where we are today. So there are a whole lot of technologies that we've adopted, we are adapting, we'll continue to use. But it's not everything we'll talk on TV. Sure.
I can see that you have done some, you are doing some chest thumping. So we should be getting some confidence from what you're saying. I know that Nigerians continue to once in a while express this trepidation that somebody will just come, raise a few guns, shoot, and everybody runs home and all that. Do you want to say something to Nigerians at this time? In terms of their conduct on that day, and in known areas where we know that some hoodlums have been, known to do this.
But you will equally believe with me that the hoodlums are Nigerians, and anybody that want to cause problem on that day, they're majorly people that we know, and that's where our rules as citizens of this country come in. We must work together. We must ensure violence of all kinds. The young men and women that probably might be tempted to be involved in thuggery and violence, they are children of somebody somewhere. So I expect parents, I expect guardians to keep a close watch on their children at this period. I also expect our parents to actually behave like parents, because we've also seen some adults, people who are fathers and grandfathers,
most of the politicians are parents,
behaving at this period. So I expect adults to behave like adults, and I expect citizens to be driven more by patriotic zeal rather than by selfish inclinations and selfish desires.
Before I let you go, there have been some deployments, especially commissioners of police across the country. Some people are saying some political parties are crying foul in some states, but my own question is, this deployment, the lateness, is it to your advantage? Is it an Achilles heel or an advantage in terms of perhaps getting acquainted with the lay of the land?
I want to say something here. We are not politicians. The Nigerian police force is not a political party. We are professionals. We are politically neutral elements. We are apolitical in every sense of the word. We are loyal, first and foremost, to the constitution of this country, to the people, and to this nation. A lot of us have lost limbs, lost eyes, lost lives in the course of serving this country. And so sometimes it's painful when we do our job and try to do them professionally, and people begin to paint us with political brush. Police deployments are not based on any other consideration other than competence and the ability to deliver on our organizational goal. The IGP, Mohamed Abubakar Adamu, has repeatedly said, we will provide a level playing field for all politicians.
ACP Frank Mba, I want to congratulate you again on your appointment and wish you the very best, especially in the coming days.
Thank you. God bless you.
Now, as a voter, do you know what to do when you get to the polling center? Now, here is a guide from the Independent National Electoral Commission.
On election day, here is how to handle your ballot paper from the point of collection from the polling official to the point of casting your ballot.
Once a voter is accredited, he is given the ballot paper all right.
After thumbprinting the ballot in secret, fold the ballot paper inward and flatten. Then proceed to the area where the ballot box is placed in the open and deposit the ballot paper into the appropriate box. Ensure the ballot paper is properly folded. Fold your ballot paper properly. Avoid mishandling your ballot paper and prevent blunt ballots.
We are going to introduce quick dry impact so that then we eliminate the risk of smashing and spoiling the ballot paper.
That has been the ballot for today. Remember, it's just 8 days to the presidential elections. I hope your TVC is now a PVC so that you can get a GAV. I mean, go and vote. Fisayo Ogunfu is the name. God willing, I will return same time on Monday. Good night.